So I've been playing Crusader Kings 3, but I'm not enjoying the whole Crusader part of it, nor the Kings part of it. So I decided to make the best society that is possible within this very open-ended system. Here's my unified Italy. It's made of small republics ruled by doges, who are a bit like feudal dukes, except they don't pass their titles to their fail sons. They are elected, they are more capable, they pay higher taxes, and they are less prone to silly feudal squabbles. Also, there's no pope. I create my own religion, which is pacifist, environmentalist, pluralist, polygamous, and matriarchal. I allow same-sex marriage, divorce, adultery, deviancy, which I believe means furry kinks, and witchcraft. Why not? It doesn't have a head of faith, and all the priests are women and concerned with feeding the poor. Everybody's happy, I'm famous, and I have more money I can spend. Here's how I did it. I started as proto-feminist icon Matilda di Canossa. In 2 generations, I conquered all modern-day Italy in the usual way: marry my daughters to powerful kings, make up some titles, declare wars, ask my children's father-in-laws for help, turn losers into vassals, and so on. However, feudal vassals are still entitled assholes with their Byzantine claims and annoying disputes, so I replaced them one by one with republican overseers, aka doges. Maritime republics were merchant city-states that existed in Italy in the Middle Ages. In order to be historically accurate, the Crusader King developers had to shoehorn them into their largely feudal framework, so they are a bit weird. But you can create your own in a weird way. You need a republican legacy in your culture, which is present in Italian, Cisalpine, and Sicilian cultures. You select a city holding, granted to a random, unlanded person, turning them into a mayor. I prefer qualified lowborns, just to spite the nobility. If a city already has a mayor, that's great. Now you grant them a county title, and it has to be the same county of the city they are ruling. Otherwise, they will just become counts or bishops. Fuck counts, fuck bishops. So you turn them into podestà, which is historically another early mayor-like title. At this point, you can grant them the duchy title, and voila, you made a republic. For the barbaric Sardinians without a republican legacy, you can just use your steward to promote Italian culture in a county. I suspect it involves some kind of ethnic cleansing, and then you do the process from there. You can also give the democratic resistance duchy to an existing doge, creating a second republic. However, in order to turn random guys into doges, I have to strip nobles of their titles and temporarily take their land. This is considered an act of tyranny, and it will cause all the disgruntled vassals to revolt. Basically, in order to make a democratic utopia, you gotta break some eggs. So I adopted a torturer lifestyle with intimidation focus to gain more dread. I unlocked the dreadful and the malice implicit perks that turn tyranny into something desirable. Having a lot of dread scares vassals, and only the ones that have nothing to lose will rebel. Small manageable vassal rebellions are good if you pass the High Crown Authority law, because it allows you to imprison the rebels when you crack down on them. And if a vassal is imprisoned, you can revoke their titles without penalty. So you want your nobles to rebel, but only a few at the same time. When I created enough republics, I pivoted to nice guy, and I changed my lifestyle to wealth, and unlocked the detail ledger perk, which gives all republican rulers a big boost of 20 points of approval, along with a big tax bonus. Highly recommended. I don't know why the king is naked. Bug. Allegory. In my 4th generation, I wanted to destroy Christianity, so I focused on piety, because in Crusader Kings 3, in order to create your own heresy and wage war against the Pope, you have to be a very good Christian. So I read the Bible, I went on pilgrimages, I built a bunch of churches, and I got to the Prophet perk, which gives you a whopping 50% discount on faith creation. Creating religions is like an a la carte menu. The plates are more expensive as they differ from your original religion. The more delicious an item is, like witchcraft, the more expensive it is. I love this system. Dismantling the papacy as a quote-unquote Christian proved to be tricky. We are pushing at the edge of the sandbox here, because the situation is clearly designed for players ruling as pagans or Muslims invading the Christendom. As a Christian schism ruler, you are still in some kind of alliance with the papacy. Winning a war against the Pope makes him transfer to another place in your kingdom, or makes him your vassal. You cannot revoke his last title either. Imprisoning the Pope and banishing him also doesn't do the job, because he gets replaced. Although it's kind of fun to see the Pope becoming a peasant. The Pope has long witcher hair? What? But there is a workaround. First, I granted the Pope a county outside of my de jure kingdom. I took away all of his land in Italy. When he rebelled, I imprisoned him. I negotiated a release, forcing him to renounce to all of his claims in Italy. Then I granted him independence. And then I fabricated a bogus claim on his foreign county. And then I broke the truce and attacked him. Now, winning this war doesn't turn him into a vassal, but rather makes him unlanded. And since I controlled the rest of Italy, the decision to dismantle the papacy became available. So I could finally erase the Pope forever. Blam! Now he's just a guy with a funny hat. Finally, I moved my capital to Ibiza, and I gave away all my remaining duchies and turned them into republics, and then I destroyed all my kingdom titles. I retired in Ibiza as an emperor with exactly 1 castle, and I died content and stress-free knowing I made this terrible medieval world a bit better. In my 5th generation, I became my daughter because the succession is now matrilinear. I just wanted to see if this model was sustainable, so I mostly spent my life in fast forward, doing the minimum maintenance. Marrying the hottest and smartest man, educating my children, handling court drama, advancing knowledge and soft power, throwing parties and doing emotional labor, crushing some Croatian dude, crusading me, hanging out with my dogaresse, doing all the Renaissance stuff a couple of centuries ahead of time, and so on. Italy has been remarkably stable, while the rest of Europe kept doing Europe stuff. Without the papacy, in a few decades, my radical ecofeminist religion spread all over the peninsula, and due to the female-dominated rule, all my old rulers were replaced with badass, highly qualified women, except for this token guy. And yeah, so we lived happily ever after. Hopefully nothing bad happens to Europe in the 14th century. Anyway, down with the Crusades, down with the kings, long live Crusader Kings 3.